Hi, I'm Moses, and today we are going to talk about something a little bit controversial. You have blood group A, B, so which means that that person is blood group AB, and you have the universal donor O. So we call it universal donor. Yeah, you are going to see the reason why that's controversial a little bit. So you so happen to take blood from O, you give it to AB. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Now, let's first of all have some details. In case maybe you are blood group A, you have anti-B antibodies in your plasma. The plasma is the liquid part of the blood. So if you have that, the antibodies will prevent you from getting blood from B, from AB, but you're going to get that from O. You're going to see the reason why. When you have blood group B, you're going to have anti-A. So that anti-A, it's in the plasma. It's going to prevent you from getting blood from anything that has A in it. So from blood group A or AB. AB usually has both antibodies. So it has anti-A, anti-B. No, it doesn't have any antibodies. So you're going to have only antigens, and in the plasma, you're not going to have any antibodies against any other antigen in the blood. So that's why they are called universal recipients. So they can receive blood from any other person, be it A, be it B, or themselves, that's AB, or even O. So they are not going to have any issue getting blood from them. Now go to O. O, they don't have, they are called O because there is no antigen on the surface of their red blood cells. So what we have in them is they have both anti-A and anti-B antibodies in them, and that will prevent them from getting blood from any other person apart from themselves. So if you're blood group O, you can only receive blood from only O, not A, not B, not AB. So that's the reason why they are universal donor. They just give, they don't receive. So they just get from their own, but they can give to any other person. Now, take this scenario that we said. You take blood from O and you give it to AB. Now remember, AB does not have any antigen. Okay, they have both antigens, sorry. They don't have any antibody. So there's no anti-A, there's no anti-B. Now you take blood from O. You said it's a universal donor, so it's very safe to give O to that person who is AB. Take that, give it to them. Remember, we don't have antigen there, which is totally okay. But we have antibodies, anti-A and anti-B. Now you take that, you give them, you're going to have a reaction because we have antigen A, we have antigen B on their surface. And you have introduced to them antibodies which are against those antigens. So we have anti-A attacking antigen A. We have anti-B attacking anti-B in our recipient. So can you now get the question? So why is it that we usually give blood group O to even those, but we usually don't have those severe cases? We don't have deaths, we don't have those reactions. The reason is simple, kind of not. Still, I still don't get the reason why usually that's the case. The reason is, especially when you have a blood that you know, when you donate, usually put that in the blood usually put in a bag somewhere. So that bag contains liquid. Most of them is going to have a saline. Some will have adenine. Some will have glucose and mannitol. They are going to like reduce the antibodies in the blood, which means that when I'm transfusing blood group O to that person, we'll have very few, if any, of the antibodies that will be transfused into that person in case we are giving whole blood. But this is what I usually encourage. In case maybe you have the capacity of giving packed cells, which means that you're only going to give red blood cells to that person, that will be the safest way. And that's why it's very important when you're giving neonates. Don't give them whole blood, give them packed cells. Because if you give them whole blood, you're going to introduce some other things in their system, and it might give some reactions or maybe some complications later, or maybe on the spot. Yeah. So when you're doing something like intrauterine blood transfusion. So you have a pregnant lady and you want to transfuse blood through the placenta all the way to the kid they are having. What we usually do something we call antibody titration of the blood. So before you transfuse the blood, you'll have to do antibody titrations so that you only give blood that has extremely low count of the antibodies, because that will go and start killing or even attacking the red blood cells in that kid that you're talking about. Now, that's the reason why it's very important to know exactly what you're doing in the laboratory. But that's why it's very, 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 very important to have qualified people in that field. You need to know exactly why something is being done. And anyway, someone come out here, tell me the reason why we still call blood group O a universal donor when it's actually not. So if you work in a blood transfusion unit, always make sure before you give out blood group O, there's no other better alternative. If you're giving maybe someone that requires A and their blood group A, that will be a complete compatibility. Yeah, I know I've not answered so many of those questions, but at least I've given you some information. At least you can work from there. Or what do you think? See you in the next one.